What's up everyone, Adrian here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you ways about how to design your own website. Now this isn't going to be a full-on tutorial about like going from 0 to 100 designing your website from the ground up. Rather, I already have a website loaded up, and what I want to do this time around in this video is just talk to you ways about like what I consider when building up my own website, what I looked out for, and now that I'm matured more in my creative journey, just how I'm going to configure it to really meet my needs as a photographer. So with this in mind, this video stems from a couple different places. I have done a lot more traveling as well, just taken on a lot of new projects along the way that I haven't just been maintaining my website and curating it to however my needs are. So I've done things like start up a YouTube channel. I have traveled so much more, going to places like South Korea, Indonesia, as well as Taiwan, and just managing a lot of different projects for my Instagram handles too. Now with all this content in mind, and just like now that I have a really good time to just hunker down and just focus on some projects at home, I figured, you know, there's going to be a really good video to share with you guys where if you want to start something new for yourself, maybe build up a website or just like get back into something that like you need to consider for yourself when just building out your online presence, this video could be for you. So with this in mind, yes, it's not going to be a full-on tutorial. I'm not going to get into like full-on social media strategies as well as just like linking things, but that is going to be part of the conversation as we just consider like how we can go ahead and centralize so many like siloed different like social media handles or even like online presences. So that way it's just one centralized hub where people can go ahead and either connect with you or you can have them take on a certain action along the way. One website or just really software I'm going to be using along the way is going to be Squarespace. You don't have to have a Squarespace account to go ahead and make use of these concepts, but rather I've used Squarespace myself because I feel like in creating my own website, I didn't have a coach or guide or anyone else just help me start out. And because I watch a lot of YouTube and just follow a lot of my favorite photographers, I tend to find that they use Squarespace a lot. So I figured, you know what, why not just start one for myself and take advantage of their coupon codes. You are going to get my full honest opinions about how I'm using Squarespace. This isn't a sponsored video whatsoever, so all the more merrier for what it is. But yeah, with this in mind, let's just go ahead and hop right into it, and I'll talk a little bit more about like how I'm using the website and just things I'm looking out for along the way too. Now we are in my Squarespace over here. This is the live site. I'm going to be showing you a little bit some of the clips about like how I'm editing things on the back end system, but I just want to give you a quick tour about like how I designed my website and just things I looked out for when I started out. So some of my favorite photographers as well as YouTubers, I in a way took some of their design layouts and just like thought processes and just decided to put it into mine and kind of standardize it in a way because everyone's going to be different, everyone's going to be unique, and everyone's needs are going to be somewhat different. However, if you're a photographer or creative trying to sell their work on, say, a centralized site, I would say there are some key things that you definitely need when trying to, in a way, compete, but also just put yourself out there a little bit more. So over here, I have my front homepage over here. I have my name right there, as well as just who I am, as well as just a clear-cut picture of me. I have a nice side profile pic, just nice and wide, so that way people just get a sense of what my face looks like. At the same time, I think what's important is also providing a little bit of a description about who you are, where you're based out in, what your skills are, and like what kind of the work that you're available to do. And then I have skills that, you know, brand me as a travel and portrait photographer, and in my last closing line over here I have, hey, I'm available to work with these different types of like personas along the way too. Granted, now things have changed quite a bit in my last editing of like my full overhaul of my website, so there are some things I'm going to be changing along the way, but with this in mind, at least you state like where you're from, what skills you have available, as well as like what kind of work that you're willing to do. Nice, clear cut and simple, nothing too extensive, because I feel like that's something that you can save for your about page later on too. While we're here on the homepage, something else that I have, which is again very simple for what it is, I have ways that you can just go ahead and buy some of my prints that I go ahead and sell. Some of my prints I don't sell directly through Squarespace itself, rather I use Darkroom too, because when it comes to using Darkroom, what I like about it is that they can really just take away the heavy lifting about like, you know, having to make out your own print, trying to ship it. I work a 9-to-5 job right now, so having something where like it could just automate that process and just take care of that for me while still providing me the data about like what is selling is super helpful to me overall. So here on my Darkroom, I just have some prints that I feel like highlight my work in Japan in particular. Granted, there are going to be more ways that I'm going to be highlighting some of my work, and I think like just would look really good in someone's home, and they have a 24-hour customer service that people can connect with too. Now, this isn't to say that this video is also sponsored by Darkroom. I just use them a lot because some of my favorite photographers as well as YouTubers use them as well too, and I've seen it pop up on social media, so I decided to take the plunge. If I want to go ahead and take printing and just selling prints in my own way, I can do that when I have a little bit more free time. But right now, when you don't have a lot of free time and you're just trying to earn some money, build a photography business on the side, you can use this in the meantime. So yes, very simple homepage. There's my face, who I am, as well as what it is that I'm looking to sell. Granted, there are other things I'm going to be talking about later on as I revamp my website, so stay tuned for that towards the end of the video. Moving along, we have a couple different tabs along the right hand corner of the screen over here. Here I have my YouTube first and foremost, so that way people can just go ahead and connect with me and go ahead and subscribe or just check out some of my views or even videos. I have my photography page over here. When it comes to photography page, what I've learned over time is that you just really want to use this as a hub to like really highlight some of the work that you've done along the way. And the way that I've configured mine over the years is that because I'm doing more travel photography as well as portraits, I've designed it so that way portraits are the #1 place. So that way if people want to connect with me, they can go ahead and just view my work and see what that like. I also like putting a little bit of a header so that way it just gives people an idea of like what it is that I'm focused on and how I do it. And then from there, I designed the website in a way where you can go ahead and use matching tones and colors, so that way it just makes a really nice, flattering, like, and say mood board in a way is how I like to think of it. And here, like, I have all the homies, shout out to all of them for making this website for what it is. Couldn't have done it without you guys. And granted, there are some pictures of me too from some of my other homies too. But yeah, with this in mind, like, having a portrait page as a portrait photographer, super important, so that way people can get a sense of like what your style is, how you're shooting, and just like what your vision is overall. Additionally, when it comes to my travel portion side of my persona, there's a couple things I'm looking out for when I'm using my equipment. So I designed it so that way I have shot on mobile because I am a green bubble texter. Shout out to all my other green bubble texters out there. I shoot on Samsung. I've been shooting on Samsung ever since I got my Samsung Galaxy S4. But yeah. With this in mind, one of the best cameras that you can have on hand is the camera that you have currently in your pocket. So if I'm not shooting with, like, say, my fancy mirrorless camera, I like to shoot with my, at least in this Japan shot on mobile gallery, I shot this on the Samsung S, I think, 22 or 23. But yeah, on an older Samsung Galaxy Ultra model, but I absolutely love it for what it is. I've also designed it in such a way where it's a little bit different from my portraits. I just want to go ahead and have these pictures take more of like a little bit more of a presence on the screen itself. Again, like having just certain images highlight your work in a certain kind of space is absolutely, I would say, crucial, because something that I did earlier on before I had Squarespace is that when I had an Instagram, I would just post all my work on there and just photo dump. But at the same time, a key important thing to know when it comes to like using social media versus like having your own website is that you have full control over your own website, and that what is there is really yours, and that you can just go ahead and configure it how you want to. And the way that you can just go ahead and say work on SEO and stuff like that, that's all on you. You don't really, there is part of an algorithm to it. I'm not going to get super deep into that because I'm just not an SEO expert like that. But at the same time, like things like say Instagram, where you're really at the mercy of the algorithm, that space isn't necessarily yours. And I believe that there's a little bit of a clause where like by posting on Instagram or like, Meta or something like that, then your work is really not yours. I can't recall, but at the same time, yes, having a website is just really important to just highlight and not just really photo dump all your work into these different, say, galleries that you have, or just how you're going to configure it. I like to have galleries because, again, like I feel that it really encapsulates a certain project or time and just makes it really easy for people to see like, okay, like if he went there, I kind of want to be inspired about like wanting to go to this location. Again, have a little bit header about like where I've gone to, and just some of the architecture and just pieces and work that I've showed a case along the way. So what I'm trying to do here is not only highlight like some of at least key moments in time for me that I find enjoyable, but I think can really inspire people to just like go ahead and travel and take action, and not be using this as a photo dump too. I have consolidated so many things, and I'm going to continue to consolidate things as we get further into the video. But I want to show my full breadth of just like where I've gone, and just show that like not only am I traveling like internationally, but I travel domestically too, and that there are ways that I just go ahead and like really make fun for where I'm at the time. So yeah, with that in mind, let's go ahead and go over a little bit into my next page, the gear page. I feel like this is a little bit crucial here too. When just starting out, or not starting out, but like when you have a much more mature understanding of like what it is that's going on in your kit. I didn't have a gear page like right out the gate. Rather, it was a little bit rudimentary when it started out. It would just be, say, highlights of like what it is I'm using in my gear. But over time, like I've decided to make one for myself, because I feel like in tying in one of my ways for opening up a revenue stream by using Amazon affiliates, having a gear page is pretty nice to have, because not only am I mentioning product in, say, like my YouTube videos, but I'm also mentioning product within like my Instagram as well as my gear page itself too. So by having my own pictures about like the gear that I'm using, it makes it a little bit more personal. But also opening up an Amazon affiliates account can open up a way to make an additional stream of revenue. So over here I have my link to the product that I'm using at the time. So here I have the Canon R6 Mark II, but I do that for every one of my photos. So that way if someone wants to buy something, I can go ahead and get a kickback from that commission. So having, in a way, I kind of like to think of it like an octopus in a way, like multiple tentacles or like multiple areas where you can go ahead and open up your opportunities to sustain or kind of build up a little bit more of a business for yourself, even if it's just like dollars or even cents. Like that in a way is pretty good too, because like now it validates the idea that you, like, this system works. Now it's just a matter of, in a way, using your certain tags through Amazon affiliates to figure out like where is that traffic driving coming in from. You can definitely see that on the back end system. I'm not going to get super deep into Amazon affiliates and like how I created that, but that's just another way of like, one, making things not only accessible for, in a way, not really your customer, but just the persona that you're trying to connect with. So if someone like, hey, wants certain kind of gear that they see in your YouTube video, they can not only go to their your YouTube video and maybe in the Amazon affiliate links below, but you have a gear page as well too, that people can access it. And I want you to keep this in mind as I'm talking through it. Everything that I'm configuring right now is trying to make it easy as possible for what we call, back in like my corporate days, the customer journey. How do you want people to navigate through, say, your website or through an email or through this digital channel, and make it really easy for them to access the information that they need? If you make it like, say, 10 clicks to get to one destination versus like 2 clicks, you're already going to have so much more success having maybe like less steps within the journey versus having like multiple steps along the way. Keep that in mind as you're building out your website, is how do I make it not only accessible to me, but also like who I'm connecting with. Keep your persona at the center of like what your focus is. Moving along, when it comes to the about page itself over here, there's going to be more of a, not snippet, but a summary of like who you are. And I think that this is a really perfect area to keep it just concise, like, hey, what it is, like your background is, where have you come from, what you're currently doing, and like where you're going. I think that's a really good storytelling progression arc about just setting the tone for your online persona, or who you are, or how you want to portray yourself. And then from here, I make it super clean and just have it nice and white, black text, and just a single picture of me. That way it just makes it super easy to understand. I personally don't like having a lot of clutter on my screen, because I can find that being a little bit too distracting and in a way visually overwhelming. So here I've designed it so that way. Here I am holding a cup of UCC coffee. If you haven't had UCC coffee, definitely give that a try. Absolutely phenomenal. Here I have my main Instagram handle. Even though I have 2 Instagram handles, I just want Kuya_Adrian, that being my photography as well as YouTube channel, to be more of the forefront of, because I like to keep Yo Kuya Adrian as something like a little bit more fun, lighthearted, and just like, in a way, just experimental outside of like photography and the like. But with this in mind too, I also have here Darkroom again, because even though I have a print shop already on my top right hand corner. Again, it goes back to the idea about like if you want someone to see your full case of work, or just like highlight what it is that you're trying to provide them with, go ahead and still make it easy and accessible for them to engage with. So yeah, a little bit more of my background, where I'm at and where I'm going to. So with this in mind, let's go into the next page over here, which is the contact page. And I find that having the contact page right next to the about page is really helpful, because like now not only do they get a sense of who you are, but at the same time like they could just readily like email you or send you a message versus going through Instagram DM. I've linked it up so that way this contact page is linked up to one of my email addresses. I have separate email accounts, so that way I can go ahead and like filter, like say one for promotions and like other like sales things, while one is like for like my actual business and like Squarespace itself too. Moving along too, I have print shop over here, so that way, kind of going back to the Darkroom example, I just go ahead and am able to sell through that channel. Now there are other things that I want to go ahead and do for this upcoming year. Something that I want to do is go ahead and sell presets, which Squarespace does allow me to do. But at the same time, right now it's still in R&D, and I just want to make sure that when I launch it, it's really good and that you guys can find some value out of it before I get deeper into the R&D as well as the presets. I would suggest watching some of my videos too, because I feel like learning how to fish and just being able to edit on your own, I think is super invaluable than just rather have the answer. Granted, I see the value in having, say, time saving when it comes to having some presets, so stay tuned for that later on, everyone. Gonna make an announcement about that. But yes, last but not least, we have blogs. So if you've followed me for quite a while, I have done blogs in the past. I don't do them now because I find that for me, blogs are just in a way time consuming, and it's easier to make a video about something. There may be some value in some blogs. I just haven't realized a lot of value in of it myself. But when I was starting out, I figured that why not explore this avenue while I have the tool to do it and just see if I like it or not. And I would say like there are other things I like making more as a priority and just saves me a little bit more time. That being YouTube as well as just Instagram Reels. I just find that a little bit more engaging and fun to create. I would say that I'm not the best writer, but at the same time like I am good at just designing things as they should be. So yeah, with this in mind, I have basically my 7 tabs off the top of my head, just configured how I want them to be. And of course, I have my Instagram over here too, so that way if people want to go ahead and access my Instagram, they totally can. Hey, look at that, new post and new YouTube video. New YouTube videos usually every Friday, so stay tuned. Yeah, but with this in mind, I have my blog, I have my Instagram handle, and I have the contact page there too, so that way if someone wants to go ahead and send me a message without having to fumble through like all these different tabs, they totally can. And with that in mind, we have come full circle and went back to our homepage. So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit more about like how I'm going to configure some of the things and just sharing with you some clips about how I've done this along the way too. I thought about it, team. This is going to be a pretty long video if I show you the full end-to-end of like how I'm going ahead and collecting my assets and just configuring my video. So I figured, why not just get into a really chill editing session right now, put on the glasses, put on some nice lo-fi, and just edit away. I'll go ahead and add a little bit descriptions along the way too, and then we'll just go ahead and do like an executive summary or like a roundup at the end of the video. Let's get to it. Welcome back everyone, long time no see. Hope you guys enjoyed that little chill editing session. I figured that now that we're here at the end result, I just want to walk you through about like some of the changes that I made, in addition to some of the ways that I have described some of the changes in like those little clippets, new word, in those little clips that I have showcased overall. So right now we are on the live site over here, and we want to see what changes that we made after making them in real time, making sure that things are working and that they are aesthetically good. Granted, right now, just for the sake of the YouTube video, it's still a little bit rudimentary. We'll just refine it along the way. But yeah, with where we're at on the website right here, still got my face looking out to some unknown object looking really cool as it is. But lower down, as we continue on, we have added a new section where now that I have a YouTube channel, I just want to showcase some of the work there. It is still just still images, nothing too fancy, no videos like right now, but just an ability to go ahead and watch YouTube videos. So here I have the title, gear reviews, hence why the backpack, editing tutorials from my trip to Taiwan. Got that man over there too, and as well as travel vlogs. So if you haven't seen the travel vlog that I posted last week regarding going to Half Moon Bay and trying out Dad's Luncheonette, definitely give that a look, and definitely check out Dad's Luncheonette when you have a time. Really good mushroom burger, would highly recommend when you're in the area. But while I'm here, I just want to make sure that the link is working, so watch here and la-di-da. Oh sweet, it doesn't blow up. So that is good. Check your links after you have inserted them into the buttons, and just configure them however you like them. I just did it for this simple YouTube video over here. But yeah, there's just some things that I feel like I could just improve upon. Looks like the spacing is just a little bit off, but nothing to really sweat about. The focus is just getting it up and running. That's what matters. Now from here, like I did in the photography snippets, it's just super easy to go ahead and add on photos already to existing galleries that I did over with the homie Parth over here. Really cool guy too, very photogenic. If you need him as a model for anything, hit him up. And just added some shoots from our James Bond Skyfall-esque kind of shoot right there. From here, I went back into the photography gear page, and I just added 2 new galleries, that being Taiwan as well as Seoul. Really easy, as I shown in the little tutorial. It's just as easy as like going ahead and duplicating the gallery, just deleting the old images and adding the new ones here too. Granted, there are some things I can go ahead and configure, but we're not going to sweat it right now. Again, the focus is just getting your work and showcasing what it is that your vision is, but also like highlighting some of your best work too. Again, this is not like a huge photo dump. I feel like there's a time and place for everything. Certain social media handles or functions or like other outlets can be used for certain purposes. But at least for here on the website itself, I just want to make it nice, simple. Hey, these are some of the pictures where I feel like best represent my work and my vision itself too. But yeah, there are going to be other things I'm going to be updating along the way as following the YouTube video, but just like as I progress through 2026 and in my creative journey too. Like I mentioned earlier on, there are going to be some presets that I'm going to be selling later down the line, but I just want to make sure that like before I launch them, they are going to be Gucci. I will share an announcement about that later on as well too. But yeah, with that in mind, I just want to say like when it comes to building up your own website and just putting yourself out there, well yes, it can be a little bit scary just starting a new initiative and just putting yourself out there in that capacity. I'd say that like it's really fun for what it is and very rewarding. Remember this, the world is going to be your oyster. The best part about starting from zero at times is that you have just so much freedom and flexibility to just create however you want it to be. Granted, how you want to go ahead and navigate and just design your site is really up to you, but just don't let yourself hold yourself back from like achieving it is that you want to achieve, and just start something new. If I didn't start this website about like 3 years ago, I probably would have just been stuck in the mindset of like I need to be really perfect and just have to know everything to get things out there. But as you can see here, and like what I want to emphasize in this video, is that you don't need to know everything about SEO. You don't need to know everything about like how Squarespace works. You just need to know the fundamentals and the rudimentary concepts, and just as and the tools that you have available in your tool shed to go ahead and just share your vision out with the world. So with this in mind, really hope that you guys enjoyed the YouTube video, as well as if there's some things that you saw just with how I'm designing my website, if you want to give me some feedback on, or if there are ways that you're using this tool to go ahead and better position yourself or just really accentuate a certain part of your website, feel free to share it within the comments. I'm very interested in seeing like how you're using the tools, but also like make it a discussion for people to learn off of too, because by all means, like, I'm designing this channel so that way we can all learn together and that we can just develop our skills. So yeah, with that in mind, hope you guys enjoyed the YouTube video, and with that in mind, I'll catch you all in the next one. With that, peace out.